There's a buy link for these plans in the video description. Underneath that I've also linked some free plans, so you have an idea of what you'll be getting before you commit to buying. These plans do, however, come with a 3D model and animation, which should help you. So for starters, take a look at the ammo, the clip and how to make it, and then I'll load it up and we'll see how it works. So this clip is 35mm long and 17mm in diameter. That's so it can fit inside that 19mm wide cavity in the receiver. Now the issue there is 19mm pipe is very common, but that won't fit. However, you'll see it's got a cut in the middle. That's to give it that sound. But even if you don't have the right pipe, you can still bend it down. This was actually made from 25mm pipe, so I just used what I had. So you don't have to find 18mm pipe. You probably don't want it to be steel or brass, then it gets a bit heavy. Likewise, plastic isn't going to make a sound. This can use size 19 rubber bands or size 34. Of course, you can change the length of the barrel unit to suit yourself. And to load it, flip this little piece open to reveal, I guess we'll call it the clip magazine. Load the clip in. This piece will actually help us press it in place. And then we can pull back on the charging handle. I actually added that later to make loading a bit easier. And while we're holding that barrel back, you can load the first rubber band. Now you can see that the barrel is still going to pull forward. So I'll load a second one, and that keeps the barrel firmly rearward, and that is what holds the clip in place. So you may have to put 2, maybe even 3 rubber bands, depending on the power of the springs. We'll get into that more a bit later. Just like the 34s, it can also use the 19s. But if I loaded these at the start, I might have to load 3, maybe even 4 at a time. It's all loaded, and you just pull the trigger. At this point, when I pull the trigger, what's going to happen is once the tension is relieved, the barrel will spring forward and release the clip. Just like that. Now I'll take it apart and explain how it all goes together. Start with the charging handle. Now the charging handle is completely optional, but as you saw, makes loading it a little bit easier. That just attaches to the barrel unit through a little slot in this side plate. You can see the hole the screw goes into. Next up, take the side plate off. There we go. Now we can see how it all works. So the clip is pressed into this little recess. You can see there's a spring plunger which we'll take a closer look at later. This part not only helps you to load, but also when the clip exits, because it bumps into this, it actually makes a lot more noise. You can see the barrel, just see a spring in there. The barrel compresses back under rubber band tension and holds the clip in place. So as soon as the barrel comes forward, it's going to release and fly out. The releaser is very simple. We've got a trigger back here and the releaser. It just pushes on the trigger. Just a regular old escapement mechanism. Nothing exciting there. We've just got this stop so this doesn't go too far forward, because if it does, it can catch on here and actually jam it and prevent the clip from ejecting. So you don't want those two parts to rub. Take it apart a bit more. Got the usual caps on either side so that rotor doesn't move side to side. Take the barrel unit out next. This little piece comes off. You can see there's a coil spring in there. And we can take the barrel unit off. Pretty simple. And you can make this any length you want to suit any rubber bands, so long as they're not too short. At this point, we can take the floor plate off. There we go. I'm not going to take this apart any further because one, it's a bit of a pain to do so, and two, there's really not much going on here. Releaser and trigger, and Raymond's 3D model will show that in a lot more detail. I'll put that aside just so I can talk about the springs. The two really important ones are these. See this spring plunger? That serves to eject this clip, and it doesn't have to be that heavy. You can see the wire of that spring is fairly thin. The one that pushes the barrel forward is a little bit heavier, and it actually probably could be lighter. But it's really important that you balance the springs. So, if the barrel spring is not heavy enough, it'll lock up like this and it won't actually slide forward and release the clip. Just like if it is too heavy, you'll have to load too many rubber bands on just to keep the barrel back. So you will definitely have to play around with different springs, different spring plunger arrangements to get it working properly. But that is how I made mine. A long bolt, some plastic tubing, this little bushing, and a spring, all bolted in nice and securely. So hopefully that helps you build your own. As always, I will put the links you need in the video description. Thanks for watching.